Hi, in this video we'll go through options and how to create a carcass and what sort of doors we can choose and materials, etc, etc. So let's start with choosing some materials that we are going to be working with. I'm going to go with the MDF, which I might need to get a spray finish door built. There was another option. I can go melamine for the carcasses. 18 millimeters. I can also choose birch plywood. Maybe I'll be using that for interior or exterior of the cabinets. I'll go with the highest grade at this point, so 18 millimeters. Right, so we've got all sets of materials to start with. So let's start creating a wardrobe. Create a carcass. From a range of templates, all we need to see is the layout that suits us, which can be modified to our requirements. So let's say I'm going with this unit first. Select carcass material. I want to keep it as cheap as, so I'm going with the melamine face chipboard, which is light gray. Door material, again, I can use the same material, or if I would have added another melamine face board, I can use that. Let's say I'll go with the MDF. Next. Now, every single unit should have a drawing which could be opened up to explain which measurements are which. So this is a generic drawing showing D1, which is depth of the cabinet, which does not include the doors. So doors will be a separate item that you need to keep in the back of your mind of what thickness you're building them at and how much you need to deduct from the actual carcass. All these H3 gap for the fixed shelf, H1 overall carcass height, feet, which are separate, they are not included as the overall carcass heights, etc. Basically, check the drawings first, and then based on all the measurements provided, we can start typing in. So carcass width, minimum 300, maximum 1300 millimeters. So I can go 1240 wide. Carcass depth, again, standard would be 600 minus the doors. So let's stick to, say, 580. Carcass height, based on material selected, we will calculate the maximum height of the carcass allowed. Yes. So carcass height, I can go 2480. Fixed shelf gap from the top, as we have seen on the drawings, this is the gap between the fixed shelf and the top of the carcass, which minimum maximum 250 to 450. So standard, we normally go 350. Fixed shelf option with downstand or without. So again, it depends. If you're having some LEDs, you can go with a downstand, which will cover it up. Also, based on the width and the depth, downstand would allow more strength on the shelf itself if more weight is being loaded onto it. So let's go with a downstand. Drawer box height, again, any measurement. We could do 765. Drawer front gap, either 30 millimeters or none. None, you may require to put some handles. If you go with a 30 mil, this is a handle-free option. Door quantity 2, because you can't have one. Hinge placement, left and right. If I will select an option none, there will not be any drillings for the hinges, as well as the hinges itself will not be included into ironmongery list. So we've got a cabinet. All we have to do, draw quantity, select 4. Feet, yes, I want feet, 100 mil. Door overhang, if I want doors to go down to the floor, I can do that as well. So door overhang bottom. Bottom door overhang size, we've got 100 mil feet, so maybe we want to have 20 millimeter gap from the floor, so we can go down 80 millimeters. Now let's have a look. We saw that the door dropped down. We can switch off the doors. door, switch off. This is what it looks like internally. Yet again, we can look at separate views. So let's look at side view. We've got left panel in the way, so we can switch that off and we can see a section view. We can put the door on, and as you can see, the door is past the carcass, which is what the bottom door overhang does. Okay, I'm happy with this. Next. Next stage, change fixed shelf downstand type, downstand graphics, push-in fixing. These are various fixing types, which again, most of the time it doesn't matter because you cannot see it. So fixed shelf with downstand. If you don't want to see any fixings, we go with push-in fixings, which are concealed, using these fixings, which are routed into the side, and the shelf is being slotted into the carcass. Downstand size, we can increase or decrease based on minimum maximum values. We'll leave it at 50. Next. Here we can control the height of each drawer. So maybe top drawer I want to keep as shallow as, and all the others I want to change, which I can. If I want to get them equal, so this measurement plus this measurement divided by 3, that means I can get them all equal. At this point, I don't want to use the calculator, and I nearly got it. I can do 161.5, we should bring it down to only 0.5 millimeter difference. Drawer runners, I can decrease the depth of the drawers, but normally we would calculate the maximum runner which can fit into the depth of the carcass selected. So it's 420 millimeters. Next. As you can see, there are gaps, which means you can get your fingers through and open the drawer. No need for the handles. Doors. Need to check the options which are there, because you can have a plain door or you can have plain door with finger grip, which again would be a J style routed handle detail throughout the length of a door, where we can select based on the cabinet that we're building. Maybe it's a base cabinet and I want the handle detail routed on the top. I mean, this is a tall carcass, we wouldn't be doing that, but as an option, all these options are available. So we go middle. We have an option for shaker door as well, which if you like, you can control shaker width, say 80 millimeter styles, top rails and bottom rails. Bottom shaker height, okay, I can control this section where I may want it 200. Shaker panel quantity 1. And we've got a shaker door. We will have an option with the mid rail very shortly, which again can be controlled and specified to what is required. Mid rail position, say 700. Maximum is 00. Okay, this option is not yet available, but it's coming soon. Next. If you want to make any changes, you can still do it. Let's say I go with the plain door finger grip, which is quite common. Next. Hinges, there will be a choice of 110 degrees or 165 degrees. Feet, only plastic feet. This is a carcass material, so here we can control which edging we want to use, because everything is flexible, same as cutter size. So we're using the same templating, etc. And say I want to put a brown edging on it, maybe black brown Serrano oak on a light gray carcass, which is doable. Doors, as I've chosen MDF, I've got an option to get them spray finished or spray primed or leave them bare. We just need to apply the radius, which we want on the corners of the door. Spray finish, spray paint, sheen level, matte, satin, gloss, etc. Color, again, you can type in a color by the reference, or you can browse through the list. Let's say this is my selection. We've got options. Client will provide color sample. You can send us your sample and we'll get it scanned and we'll get it matched. Or client will provide a color code. If you cannot find it from our database, all you need to do is type in manufacturer and a color reference here, and we'll get that matched as well. Next, quantity, let's say 1. We've got 1 carcass created with 4 numbered drawers. We've got side offsets to make sure that the hinges can go pass through, to make sure that everything works. We can name this area as bedroom 1, and this carcass, it may be left carcass, which I can again reference, left carcass, and that means that we can add more. If we click add unit, this will add unit under bedroom 1 assembly. If we press create assembly, it may mean that we're starting a new room or a new area into which we need again to add units. All we need to do, get quote, and the system will generate quotation, including the cutting list and all the breakdowns of the costs, which we will see in a second. Plimps, side panels, scribes, etc. They are not included. Those need to be typed in separately into a cut to size section, which would be here. And that's where, based on lengths of the units or the amount of units, we don't want to do separate individual plimps per unit because it doesn't look nice. So we want a continuous plinth. Once we know the lengths, we can type in the measurements, etc., and apply the finishes in the same manner. So, general summary: board cutting time, edging and edge banding, spray finishing, drilling, machining, ironmongery. Each tab will give you a preview of the materials used and how the boards are cut. I know that I've done the door slightly too wide, so they cannot be cut using one sheet. It has to bring in a separate sheet, which again, we can reduce the width of the carcass if we can, and then we save the material. Board summary here, all the boards are listed with the prices, cutting time, costs, etc. Edging summary, based on our edging selections, we've got the meterage of how many meters of each edging has been used and how much it's costing. Spray finishing, that's for the 2 doors that I've selected. Square meter price and square meter area, which are multiplied to give you a figure. Machining, this is where the machining costs are per unit, including drawers, holes, etc., etc. So it's £130.50 per unit for everything. Ironmongery, this is a list of all the ironmongery, which is included to every single unit based on modifications and measurements what you've typed in. So everything is here. The only thing that is required is a screwdriver to assemble. Just ironmongery itself is coming to £182.38, including the draw runners, screws, dowels, hanging rails, everything. Part summary, these are all the parts which are listed, which again here we can check parts. It will give us a list of all the parts assembling this item, and if we click on these photos here, they will show where they need to go. Door, drawer side, etc., etc. Every part is labeled. It's got references where it needs to go. Unit drawings are provided for ease of assembly. So that is it. Carcasses. This is how to create a carcass. Thank you.